welcome to the next module. In this module, we will be looking at Arctic aerosol and mechanism. Part 2, we will be mainly focusing on short-lived climate factors. So here is a brief overview of Arctic warming which we have been seeing so far. And the main focus is now on contribution of short-lived climate factors and their importance in understanding the short-lived climate factors with respect to Arctic warming. So let us look at the types of short-lived climate forces. They are tropospheric ozone, methane, aerosols, basically black carbon and sulfates, and they contribute significantly to Arctic warming since 1890. And what is the importance of understanding short-lived climate forces? The main focus is sources and sinks of SLCFs at high latitude, and also the main goal is understanding their climate effects and local amplification mechanisms. So this will be the main focus of this particular module. What are short-lived climate forces? These are tropospheric ozone, methane and aerosols in the northern hemisphere, and they have contributed substantially to Arctic warming. So let us look at the different seasonal cycle. The seasonal cycle of aerosol in the Arctic show intricate pattern influenced by atmospheric transport. In the winter and the early spring, pollutants accumulate due to long-range transport from mid-latitude, which creates Arctic haze. As the season changes, the Arctic front shifts northward, reducing the pollutant influx and increasing the precipitation, which lowers aerosol concentration. Seasonal pattern vary by location, with anthropogenic tracers peaking in winter and natural tracers showing dual peaks, such as mineral dust and elevated in the summer and spring. The main sources of aerosol in the remote marine boundary layer. The remote marine boundary layer features aerosol sources like sea salt and non-sea salt aerosols. Sea salt is generated by the open sea spray, while non-sea salt aerosols primarily consist of sulfate from dimethyl sulfide produced by phytoplanktons. Understanding these sources is crucial in modeling their impact on Arctic climate system. The relative contribution of the three marine aerosol sources is dependent upon wind speed, frequency. The third one is the entrainment of free tropospheric aerosol. So these are all the three marine aerosol sources, and the relative contribution to these three marine aerosols depends on the wind speed, frequency of occurrence of cloud and precipitation, sea surface DMS emission rates, oxidation mechanism. DMS means dimethyl sulfide to sulfur dioxide and methane sulfonic acid, rate of entrainment of free tropospheric aerosol. These are all the various ways by the sources of marine aerosols. So what are the main sources of aerosols? Elemental black carbon, sulfate, nitrate and ammonium are typical anthropogenic tracers during the Arctic haze season, and their sources include fossil fuel combustion, residential heating and agriculture. At summit, that means at the peak, which has different seasonal pattern, that is absence of winter haze due to its elevation, elemental black carbon peaks later. The atmospheric chemical process of particulate nitrate formation depends on the aerosol acidity, water content and ambient temperature. So this table talks about how do we know what they do, that is the short-lived climate forces. So here are the variables and the different types of measurements that is carried out and by which method it is carried out, and the remarks are given here. For example, sulfate, ammonium, sodium, potassium are measured from 1980 to 2019. And nitrate and methane sulfonic acid from 1981 to 2019 by the method by HI volume sampler and ion chromatographic methods. They were analyzed, and here the total suspended particulates can be measured using these methods. And elemental black carbon was being measured from 1990 to 2017. So through the ethylometer and thermal optical methods, these are measured, and they happen at 880 nanometers, and total suspended particles are also present here. For calcium ion and iron, The instrumental neuron activation analysis and inductively coupled plasma mass spectroscopy are the two methods by which we can measure or detect these kind of ions. And here are some of the data that is given. And we can also study about the scattering coefficient and absorption coefficient. These are all the various methods that had been carried out by various scientists in understanding the short-lived climate forces effect on climate change. What is the general observation? With respect to the haze region, there is a significant negative trend for the elemental black carbon and the NSSO, sulfur oxides. The typical anthropogenic combustion tracers these are all the major anthropogenic combustion tracers. And in the summer season, the smaller number of significant decrease is observed. It is less effective transport of anthropogenic emissions, and the natural sources include wildfires and marine organisms.